Welcome back to our live coverage at Octane 2025. I am your host, Mandy Logan, and I am joined by Conor, I want to make sure I say it correctly,
Mulherin.
Mulherin.
Thank you.
Mulherin, yes. Um, and I am very excited to speak with you coming from TechSoup because you focus on the nonprofit sector.
We do. Yes, TechSoup is a nonprofit based in the Bay Area, but operating globally. And we serve 1.5 million nonprofits around the world. And our mission is to help those nonprofits access, adopt, and implement the tech resources that they need to fulfill their missions.
Okay, 1.5 million across the world. And a lot of times I think of it as dedicated, hardworking, determined individuals who have a goal and a mission,
hmm
but not the resources.
That's exactly right. Yeah. You know, 90% of nonprofits around the world have small budgets, under $1 million. They are, per Okta's at Work report recently, the second targeted sector, just behind energy. And the difference in resources between the energy sector and the nonprofit sector is night and day.
Right.
Nonprofits typically don't have a CTO. The majority of them don't have a dedicated full-time IT staff. And this leads to challenges, obviously, in terms of cybersecurity. And so this comes to pass.
Now, real quick, I don't
Yeah.
want to cut you off there, but do you feel like that is one of the biggest threats? Do you feel like that is the biggest challenge?
It's absolutely the biggest challenge. The threats themselves are similar across the private sector,
Right.
of course, but the ability to fend and find these cybersecurity threats is much different for nonprofits. They simply aren't resourced to do the same. They aren't set up to the same. They're often mission driven and focus less because of the size and resources they have on IT security. They're often working in sensitive mission areas. They're often handling sensitive data sets and can be a target for cyber criminals and for sometimes state-sponsored actors to get at that data.
That actually, you read my mind because that was part of my next question was, what do you see with nonprofits that makes them a special target that's separate from how other companies, corporations, and organizations are working?
Yeah, it's that they are vulnerable.
Vulnerable,
And
right.
so, cybersecurity typically these days, particularly as supported by AI, is relatively indiscriminate. Just going out and looking for vulnerabilities, and nonprofits are more likely to have those vulnerabilities because there aren't policies in place. Perhaps the technical systems aren't patched and updated, and so they become easy targets.
It does. And we have such a human tendency to, let's face it, if we step away from cybersecurity, we all look to do things as expediently as possible,
Right.
usually, right? With the least amount of effort. And so it's like, man, that's hard because now you have nonprofits who are putting forth tremendous effort in their mission, but they really aren't able to put forth effort to stay on top of where AI-driven changes are going.
That's right.
And I'm curious with TechSoup, how long has TechSoup worked with Okta?
Right from the early stage, probably 2016, when Okta were establishing their social impact program under Aaron Battlefelter.
Yes.
So right from the start, TechSoup was validating nonprofits for their program, and we've been a partner ever since. Okta have been incredible funding partners of TechSoup on a number of different projects.
Nice.
So there's been a close partnership right there from the beginning.
And you had experience with other identity and access management providers prior to using Okta?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we have an IT department. We
Okay.
have solutions in place. I think Okta was a game changer for us in terms of centralizing access and centralizing ID management.
And since you mentioned the initiatives that Okta is very specific on maintaining, like you mentioned Aaron Battlefelter bringing up those initiatives, is that portion of why you chose to work with Okta?
I think at the time, and in fact, I don't recall exactly how we came in contact, but in terms of Okta working with TechSoup, that was because we were a good and local partner in the Bay Area to help kind of think through and establish a social impact program.
Okay.
From TechSoup's perspective, Octa has an incredibly generous, always has had a very generous nonprofit offer. There's 50 free seats. To licenses for nonprofits to use. More recently, that also includes implementation support for free. So they're really a robust offering for nonprofits that can go from quite vulnerable to very well protected with support from Octa.
I've got to say that makes me feel relief, and I'm not even in the trenches with them handling that. So when you look at how you are integrating Okta for your clients, not only for your own organization, but then for all of your customers globally, what are some of the key things you've seen change in the robust nature of your clients?
Yeah, I think simply by having tools like that in place changes behaviors, closes gaps and vulnerabilities. So where you were once sharing passwords because that was a good way to save on costs, you're kind of forced not to do that anymore. Where IT teams have had little visibility into what apps are being used and people bringing in their own devices, that changes under an Okta model where you have full visibility into all of that. And so it's just kind of bringing along nonprofits to where the private sector was going anyway, which is a great thing.
Makes me think of hiking, like whenever, no person left behind.
Yes.
No organization left behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's at the core of TechSoup's mission is to level the playing field. And so particularly as it relates to cybersecurity, we're thinking about how do we make sure that nonprofits are not left behind. They deserve, I feel, the same level of protection because of the role they're playing in society. And they need to get that. And so offers like Okta enable that. But more broadly, in terms of nonprofits getting the IT leadership they need, TechSoup recently launched, like last week, with our great partners at Tech Impact, a virtual CTO for the sector initiative.
Really?
And so this is about fractional CTO access, deep consultation and assessment, and then ongoing support and community to help those nonprofits get exactly that, access to IT leadership that they perhaps wouldn't have otherwise. And it's low cost, it's $500 a year, $400 a year actually.
Wow.
And with Okta's support again, there's actually a subsidy program as well where nonprofits that can't afford to pay that can get it for free as well.
Oh my goodness. Now please restate the name of the initiative or the program.
It's the virtual CTO for the nonprofit sector.
The virtual CTO for the nonprofit. Walk me through what happens when you start deploying that for your customers.
Well, it starts with a consultation with our great partners at Tech Impact. So nonprofits may be starting from scratch, maybe they have existing policies in place, but Tech Impact will go and this is what they do. They go in and they will assess where you're at in terms of your security and generally your IT and help you understand where you have vulnerabilities. And then that starts to pass over to TechSoup, where we have a marketplace with access to solutions that will help fill those gaps. And between the two of us and with an ongoing community support, a peer-to-peer community, so you're working with nonprofits who have these same experiences in a trusted environment. You can talk about the challenges and solutions that you've developed to some of these security issues. And we're basically, hand-holding along the way and making sure that, again, nonprofits don't get left behind.
What has been some feedback from those who adopted the virtual CTO
So this is launched like a week ago.
It's just
so
a week ago.
we have our first.
But before launch, I kind of thought perhaps you'd done beta testing. I thought perhaps you had certain customers that you had already tried it out with.
It's been clear to us for a long time that this has been lacking in so we have our very large community. When we talk to them, this is what they're missing from their IT strategies. And so we're well aware of what was needed.
Right.
And so this is about putting the pieces of that response together and now getting it out there. And so we're very excited for folks to start to use it.
Oh, walk me through then what kind of training is offered?
The full gamut of security in terms of physical security, ID management, antivirus software, securing your infrastructure. But all of that is resources that TechSoup or Tech Impact together, and with other third parties as well, have developed. So, this is really about bringing the collection of those things together in an organized way, so that nonprofits can have a structured, multifaceted approach to their IT management.
Now, with your background, and I've got to say, it's very nice to speak with somebody who has been has a 20-year tenure at the same organization, and now you've seen since 2016 working with Okta. And in this time frame, from 2016 till now, and with the advent of AI and all of that, what are things that you look at or that your organization looks at and thought, wow, in 2016, I never would have assumed this would happen?
Yeah, well, in 2016, nobody or very few people were thinking about AI and the possibility of what that would bring, both in terms of threats and cybersecurity. So obviously things are accelerated greatly and sophisticated as well. But I think probably the biggest thing for nonprofits is the volume of attack now that's possible. Very easy for a bad actor to spin up a platform that, again, indiscriminately is looking for vulnerabilities and going out there. On the other side of things, of course, AI is helping to defend against this as well. And so security teams now have tools, Okta and others, where they can detect and react to threats in a way that kind of cuts through the noise and allows them to focus with automation on solving problems as they come up in real time.
And in this time then, so from 2016 to now, how has Okta really helped your own organization? Forget your customers for a moment.
Yeah.
They're always in mind, but let's focus on what happened for you traditionally in using Okta.
Yeah, we like many nonprofits, were using a huge variety of different apps. Different teams would use different software around the world. Even within kind of our locations, different groups were using a certain tool for communication. Another group would use a similar but different tool. Gradually, in bringing all of our apps under one access management solution with Okta, we've brought that together. We've got some control to the chaos. And so when a new employee comes on board, we can very quickly stand them up with the access they need, appropriate access at appropriate privilege levels. And also when people leave, we can very quickly, that same day, remove that access as well. Incredibly important, particularly for nonprofits who have a lot of turnover, typically work with a lot of volunteers. So you need to be able to very quickly, TechSoup too, you need to be able to very quickly react to changes in your staff, whatever they may be. And that's what Okta since then has brought for us. And we're very excited and listening to Todd in the keynote there about how AI is now treated as an identity within that whole framework as well. And so AI agents rather become a person, just like a customer or a staff member, and is treated as such. What do they have access to? Well, let's make sure that's appropriate and can be shut down as appropriate as well. So I think the evolution of Okta, both generally and also in terms of how they help nonprofits, has been really incredible, inspiring even for others. And so we've been very lucky to be part of that.
Oh, I am so happy to hear that. And again, since my heart holds nonprofits near and dear, and I think it's intriguing. I feel like it's incredibly intriguing to figure out how to maximize your budget and do it in a creative and intelligent way. I am so glad you were able to be here and join us, and I thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Mandy. Really appreciate chatting with you.
You're very welcome. And to our lovely audience, thank you for joining us. Now, to view all of our coverage, please visit securityweekly.com/Octane. Thanks again for the conversation. Please stick around. We will be right back after the next break.